5 is airing this special edition of America Tonight. Stay tuned. Entertainment Tonight will follow this program at 11:30.
Now, a special one-hour edition of America Tonight. One day to the deadline. Can anything stop the war? We'll go live to Saudi Arabia. Hear the latest from Baghdad. Look behind the scenes at a tense White House. And visit a small town in Alabama. How real is the Iraqi terrorist threat in the U.S. and around the world? And what do Americans think? We'll get the latest poll results and hear from people who track the nation's pulse all over the country. From CBS News, this is America Tonight, with Dan Rather and Charles Carrault in New York and Leslie Stahl in Washington.
Good evening. You'd have to say it looks like war, and pretty soon. With 24 hours to go, the diplomats are still trying. The United Nations Security Council met tonight. France said it had an idea for keeping the bullets from flying between the United States and Iraq. The Algerians have had some luck in the past mediating Mideastern disputes. They are still trying tonight. So are the Yemenis, so are the Tunisians. We don't know of any reason to hope that they will succeed. What the world needs now is more than diplomacy. It needs something in the nature of a deliverance. Dan Rather joins us tonight. Good evening, Dan.
Good evening, Charles. Good to be with you. In the deserts of Saudi Arabia, the U.S. military is stepping up its war preparations as the clock ticks down to tomorrow's deadline. We want to get the latest from our correspondents in and around the Persian Gulf. First, we're going to make an effort to reach our veteran CBS News correspondent, Alan Pizzi, live on the telephone from inside Iraq in Baghdad. Alan, are you there? And if so, what's it like on what appears to be the brink of war in Baghdad?
Well, Dan, it's shortly after dawn, and no one here sees much hope of peace. In fact, no one sees much of anything. Visibility is down to about 100 yards in the thickest fog I've ever seen in this part of the world. But the mood is one of resignation and despondency. The people here know that they've never been able to do very much about the decisions of their leaders. They're not responsible for this one, but they know they're going to have to live with it or die with it, and they're preparing for the worst. Those who can have been jamming bus stations, getting their families out into the countryside. Two of the favorite locations are Shiite holy cities. They don't think anybody would bomb those. People are trying to be optimistic at the same time. Government officials said to me, there won't be war. I know there won't be war. Then he asked us if he could have some camera tape to put over his windows to prevent the blasts, and said he was putting his valuables under sandbags. And there's a lot of stockpiling. People here know something's going down. I don't think they realize that this is going to be different from Iran. I think they're still thinking little missiles and human waves. They don't yet know about B-52s and cruise missiles, and they're afraid they're going to find out. Dan?
Alan Pizzi, live from Baghdad. Bob Simon is with U.S. forces in Saudi Arabia. Bob Simon covered the war in Vietnam. He covered the Lebanese war. Bob, it's morning now in Saudi Arabia. What is the state of preparedness of U.S. forces there?
Dan, here's the headline on today's English-language Saudi newspaper, On the Brink, and it pretty well reflects the state of mind here. No one here, neither the Saudis nor the Americans, have any precise knowledge of the battle plan. They have no inside line to Washington. But the sense here is definitely one of imminence, that things are going to begin soon. I think the troops would be enormously let down if something did not begin within a few days after the deadline. That's definitely the expectation. A senior Air Force commander who I talked to yesterday said that he expects Saddam to be very aggressive. He expects Saddam to fight the United States in the skies. He expects Saddam to try to send missiles down this way to hit the large American bases. He said his opinion is that if Saddam commits all his 600 to 700 fighter planes at once, that it will take the Americans some 48 hours to achieve air superiority. He said, however, that we should be prepared, that he expects the United States to lose a few more planes than has been previously thought.
Bob, you've been there quite a long time, since early August. What has been different about these past few days?
The mood and the movement, Dan, there has been enormous movement north. Everybody is on the move, taking up positions that had been undreamt of until a few days ago. And the mood is one of heightened expectation. When you ask soldiers the questions we've asked all too much for the last few months, what do you think, how do you feel, You no longer get the stock answers, we're here to do our job, sir, we're here to obey the president, to fulfill our mission. Now the answers are, I'm scared, I'm worried, I think it's happening. The chaplains here have been very busy.
Bob Simon, thanks. The Middle East was further shaken tonight by a hail of gunfire in Tunis. 3 people were killed, including 2 top aides to Palestine Liberation Organization chief Yasser Arafat. At first, PLO sources blamed Israel, but late tonight, a Palestinian commander in Tunis said the killer was what he described as a renegade bodyguard. Arafat was out of the country when the shootings occurred. Now let's go to Leslie Stahl in Washington. Leslie?
Dan, should war break out, Saddam Hussein has his army, his missiles, and his terrorists. Experts say he could attempt some attacks in the United States, with New York, Washington, Los Angeles, Chicago, and Detroit possible locations. Joining us now from Los Angeles, Brian Jenkins, an authority and a consultant on terrorism, and here in Washington, Vincent Canestraro, former chief of counterterrorism operations at the CIA. How serious, in your mind, is the possibility that locations in the United States are ready to go if Saddam says so, and what are they?
Yeah. I think for the first time the United States is a serious target for terrorism. When he does give a green light to attack targets as part of his paraphernalia of weapons to be used against the United States, he will authorize terrorism in the United States.
Brian Jenkins, do you agree with that? Do you think that for the first time we are serious targets?
Oh, I think so. This is the first time that we will find ourselves in a war with a state that has terrorism as part of its arsenal. Clearly, we cannot rule out the possibility of a terrorist spectacular in this country.
Do we know, either of you, that his people have begun filtering into the United States?
Well, he already has somewhat of a rudimentary network in the United States.
He does?
Last year, for example, the Department of State declared persona non grata an Iraqi intelligence officer at the UN mission. He was suspected of involvement in the assassination of an Iraqi dissident in the United States.
You know, I have a friend who went shopping at a grocery store today. Noticed that people are buying huge, giant gallons of water. People are afraid that water supplies will be hurt and targeted. Is this?
I think that's an exaggerated threat, but there is a lot of alarmist scenarios out there.
Well, you're alarming us, both of you, I must say.
Well, I think we need to be alert, and I think the public needs to be aware. There is a threat, and for the first time, this threat is coming back at the American mainland. I don't think we have to avoid going into a subway or avoid taking a domestic airplane trip or taking a bus trip. Or worry about, well, they are potential targets, but they're not predictable targets. But aquifers and water supplies are traditionally cited as topics for terrorist operations, and they're unlikely ones because of the purification system set up. There are a lot of steps along the way before that water gets to your drinking fountain.
Well, Brian Jenkins, talk to the American people. Tell us what we should do, if anything, what we can do.
Well, I think there's a line between prudence and paranoia. The average American citizen in this country is not going to be endangered by terrorism, in danger of becoming a victim of terrorism. That danger will be far less than the danger that we confront daily from crime in our own cities, from driving on our own highways. Intriguingly, the threat we focus on is the theoretical possibility of terrorism, even though we haven't apprehended a single terrorist. We have no way of knowing with certainty that there will be any terrorist attack. We are in danger of creating Fort Apache without the Apaches here.
I tend to think that the threat is real. I think Saddam Hussein has made it clear that the United States is within his reach and that he does intend to bring terrorism to the United States. It's not as accessible for him, it's more difficult to reach, but he certainly is going to try.
Let me ask you both a fast last question. How good is our intelligence?
Our intelligence is only as good as the humans can make it, but it's not mechanical. It's not a satellite. Well, it means it's imperfect. It means it's subject to human failing. It means that terrorism is only predictable to a certain degree, but not in its totality. It means terrorism will take place.
I think our intelligence is excellent, but it's inadequate, and it always will be inadequate given the nature of the terrorist threat.
Wow. Okay. Well, Chilling, chilling. I want to thank you both very much for being our guests, Vincent Canestraro and Brian Jenkins. Back to you, Charles.
Well, this isn't about terrorism, but it is about fear. I guess tension is greatest tonight in some of the small towns which have made big sacrifices. There's a community in Alabama where the Baptist minister and the grammar school principal and 4 of the 5 drivers on the rescue squad have all gone off to war.
From all of us here at home to all you men and women in the Middle East, fellas, you better know you got a lot of support with you from back home. Right here in Clay County, East Alabama, we're doing our best for you.
Clay County, Alabama, in the foothills of the Talladega Mountains, is suffering already, and the war hasn't started yet. The small towns of Ashland and Lineville are missing their men, members of the 1208th Quartermaster Supply Unit of the National Guard. The 1208th is in Saudi Arabia.
The toughest part, I think, is not knowing what may happen the midnight of the 15th. It's the fear of how many of our fellows will come back.
Becky Bodie's fella is Gerald, a 51-year-old lab technician. He's a soldier now.
Hi, Margaret. You making it? Yes.
The 1208th has been gone about 125 days. Out of the loneliness, new bonds have been formed between old friends. The women of Clay County now cook together and laugh and cry together. Margaret Powell and Kathy Parker are among the wives of the 1208th.
I can call her up and I can cry on her shoulder and she knows exactly how I feel. She calls me and she's cried on my shoulder and I say, Margaret, it's okay, I know what you're feeling.
It's hard. I get up crying and I go to bed crying. And I try to look to the Lord for my strength, and I know He has control over what happens the 15th.
I do break. I break every day, and I'm in this house by myself, so I've got to turn around and look at different avenues to be strong.
The war hasn't even started yet, but teenagers already feel fatherless.
Well, can't say much about it because
it's not just the emotional life of Clay County that's been hurt.
God bless the USA.
Disc jockey Jeff Colburn says the economy has been shattered by the lost income of the men who've gone away.
It's devastating. That's the only word we can find for it. Our economy, our business people have been hit real hard, and I've never seen people in the county as scared as they are right now.
Father in heaven, we do thank you for...
At Becky Bodie's house in rural Alabama, people join hands, look toward tomorrow night's deadline, and pray.
And may you protect our service people, those who are so near and dear to our hearts. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
10 members of one family have left Clay County to go to Saudi Arabia. In a place like that, Dan, of course, prayers for peace are heartfelt.
Charles, I don't know of a place in this country where the prayers for peace tonight are not heartfelt. Still to come on our program, America Tonight, we'll talk with writers and editors from all around the country on what Americans are feeling as the clock ticks down. And we'll have a report on the mood at the White House, 24 hours away from a potential confrontation in the Gulf.
Why do I enjoy healthier Alpine Lace, low cholesterol and low sodium Swiss low cheese? Because it tastes so good. And now it's even lower in fat.
The healthy and tasty Swiss low cheese tastes so good from Alpine Lace.
Good grief. We've got 4 kids that find more dirt than you can imagine. Dirty socks, grass stains. So I bought some Liquid Tide. Hey, thank you. Now, instead of buying new socks, I buy more Liquid Tide. Sincerely, Mrs. Kathleen McInnes.
Can your liquid get out tough dirt and grass stains? Liquid Tide did. You'll be surprised how many things Liquid Tide gets out. If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide.
Freedom's the one.
Only one gum passes the test when you've got dental work, And that's Freedent. Freedent won't stick to your dental work, so you can be confident chewing it. And because it also moistens your mouth and freshens your breath, Freedent's in a class by itself.
Freedent's the one that took the stick out of gum, and Freedent moistens your mouth. Yeah, moistens your mouth and freshens your breath while you chew.
Non-stick Freedent moistens your mouth and freshens your breath.
I can't fly with this head cold. My nose is too stuffed up and congested.
Here, take Actifed.
For strong medicine, take full prescription strength Actifed. Of the 3 leading cold medicines once sold by prescription, only one comes in its original maximum full prescription strength formula. Only Actifed.
You okay?
Yeah, this stuff really works.
Take full prescription strength Actifed. And to help reduce the fever and sinus pain of a bad head cold, take Actifed Plus.
New Alpine Lace American Slices.
Tastes so good.
Low cholesterol and 50% less sodium.
Tastes so good.
2/3 less saturated fat.
Healthy and tasty American. Tastes so good. Alpine Lace.
I'm Harry Smith.
And I'm Paula Zahn. Tomorrow, the latest from the Middle East.
Then, how to know when your kids are faking illness to avoid school on CBS This Morning.
Wednesday.
Who gets custody of the couple's 6 fertilized eggs at the local fertility clinic?
How far will a mother go to protect her young?
You take one step and they're gone.
And how far will a news anchorman go to make headline whoopee?
This could be the sexual adventure of a lifetime.
WIOU Wednesday.
I want a biscuit.
The U.S. military buildup continues at full throttle. The Pentagon says that 410,000 American troops are now in place out of a hoped-for ultimate total of 450,000. And the nuclear aircraft carrier Roosevelt sailed through the Suez Canal today en route to the Gulf, where it will be one of 6 U.S. carriers online. Joining me now is our CBS News consultant on Operation Desert Shield, retired U.S. Marine Corps General George Christ, as well as Professor Fuad Ajami, our CBS News consultant on the Middle East from Johns Hopkins University. First, General Christ, if I'm a father or a mother with a young person in that part of the world, especially, I want to know, are we ready? Are we really ready to go?
Dan, the air is ready to go anytime. I think the military would like a little bit more time to settle down those heavy tank divisions that just came in from Europe and get them ready to attack.
You say the air is ready to go. Does that mean, from everything you've been able to gather, that we might go rather quickly after January 15th and this deadline passes?
From a purely military perspective, I think they would prefer an early February date. On the other hand, if the air war lasts, say, 10 to 14 days, that might give the ground enough time to be fully ready.
And how do our forces compare with the Iraqis, particularly on the ground? I must say, I don't quite understand why we're committed to going on the ground.
Well, in the air, we outnumber them 3-to-1, about 2,000 Allied air versus about 600 Iraqis, with a big edge in quality. On the ground, it's about 1-to-1 across the board. If we just go after the troops in Kuwait, then we outnumber them about 2-to-1. But we have one big advantage, Dan. We can hit them at the time and place of our choosing.
Thank you, General Chris. Fuad Ajami, there's talk of a new French initiative. From what you've been able to gather, should we put much stock in the possibility of that succeeding?
Well, Dan, until the bullets start flying, there will be talk of all kinds of initiatives. I mean, the hawkers and the vendors have gone to work. There will be talk of a French initiative, talk of an Algerian initiative, talk of a Yemeni initiative. We've always been hoping that we would be spared the consequences of a war. We've made a commitment which is equivalent to a war and kept hoping that on the way to war we would hit an exit and we would find this exit. And we've been disappointed. And to mix metaphors, there have been all kinds of bubbles, and Saddam pricked them all. There was the bubble that we would go to Geneva and it would be magical in Geneva. There was the bubble that Perez de Cuellar would produce peace, and it didn't work. There was the hope that Saddam would address his National Assembly, and that his National Assembly would plead with him to get out of Kuwait, and that didn't work. So I think we're looking at the prospects of war short of this miraculous deliverance.
I hear people all over this country asking, what is it with Saddam Hussein? Does he not realize what destruction could be facing him? Why hasn't he latched on to the UN initiative or some initiative and avoid this collision?
Well, this is the fundamental question about the story. This is the fundamental question about this soldier, this protagonist whom we face. We would think it would stand to reason if he were a rational man. If he would look out of his window, he would see this vast armada and he would see this vast land presence in Saudi Arabia, and he would realize he's a beaten man. But then on the other hand, if you think about it from his own perspective, if you think that this is really just a man who's concerned not so much about his country, we keep thinking that we can destroy his country, that we can tell him, look, your country could be shattered. But this man has wreaked havoc in his own country himself. What he really is concerned about is the safety of his own clan and the safety of his own regime. And he may conclude, he may think that perhaps he could enter into a test of will with the US and he could emerge intact, that even were we to win militarily, he could salvage out of this military defeat a political victory. This must be his bet, I would think.
We have only a few seconds left, but do you buy the idea that he could lose the war, but win in terms of his overall strategic objective?
I don't think so. I mean, I think Saddam is the claimant. He's made a bid for power, and we know about such bids for power. If you defeat them, if you defeat the contender, then his vision and his base are shattered.
Fuad Ajami, General Christ, thanks. Leslie?
Dan, my regular beat when I'm not sitting here is covering the White House. I went over there today to get a sense of the mood and to show you what it looks like inside as a crisis builds. When I got there early this morning, you could feel the tension. Hi, how are you? You can always tell when the president's in the Oval Office because you see this guard standing right there. If he's standing there, that means the president's at work in this side of the White House. So we know the president's in the Oval Office, and this is a day that we want to go in quickly and see what's going on.
The situation is deteriorating.
This is the CBS booth, and it's very small. People sometimes tell us it's the glamorous life. Well, come in and look at this. That's NBC's booth, by the way. Are you exhausted? Thank you.
Yeah, it's been tough.
I know. Nervous.
Yeah, especially when it gets down to a situation like this. We were talking about it this morning, that as reporters, we sort of feel what the nation feels what the president feels. We're so close to this guy. And right now, we feel very down.
But let me show you. Right through that door is the Oval Office. Right through that door. I cannot go through there. But the press office is right here, Marlon Fitzwater's office. And I can go in here. How are you, Marlon?
Good, good. How are you?
Well, I woke up this morning and got scared.
Yeah?
Yeah, I heard the radio and I got very nervous.
Yeah, it's been a nervous time.
Yeah.
I think we've all been concerned and had a little anxiety for the last several weeks.
How is the president? Is he...
He's in good shape. He, he's clearly preoccupied with events, and I know they weigh heavily on him, and you can see it in his face, and he's pretty serious all the time.
May I have your attention, please? Mr. Fitzwater's daily briefing is about to begin. Thank you.
Marlon briefs every morning, and reporters from news organizations all around the world come to the White House. Today, it was crowded.
You get the feeling the press aren't just trying to make trouble. They aren't trying to embarrass you. They aren't trying to make you look foolish. But they really want to press to make sure you're presenting the best case. And I think that's legitimate.
The most important comment was, any moment, Fitzwater said, any moment after the 15th is borrowed time.
But, it's sort of suggesting nothing's going to happen at least for a few days, unless that's all part of the game.
There'll be a mass sort of notification of the allies by him and by others to let them know that this has happened. This is the UPI, obviously it is, because there's Helen Thomas. Hi, Helen. Hi. I'm sorry to bother you in the middle of such a busy workday. Have you ever seen anything like this before?
You mean going down to the wire? I've never seen the build-up where we knew something was so imminent. Usually it comes out of left field. I mean, even Panama was a shock, and Grenada. But this is something where every day has added a new dimension to the possibility of war, and I think that there's really a somber, I think people are really blue.
And scared even.
So, I mean, no one wants war, and yet we seem to be plunging headlong.
Well, there's a lot at stake. I don't think the press wants to appear frivolous or adversarial to the point of not being supportive if it's needed.
No, but you get this close, and Governor Sununu talked about this too.
Yeah.
You reach a point, and the whole country, including the press corps, is kind of with the president. It's we're all in it. We're Americans. We're all. This is our.
Well, you've got to be. I mean, there's got to be an initial compassion for the troops that overwhelms everything else.
At his briefing today, Marlin asked that everyone pray.
When we come back, Dan here is going to ask some editors around the country to give us the feel of their regions. And a leader of the House who voted to authorize war explains why he voted that way.
Yeah, I'll call you back.
When the diagnosis is minor sore throat pain, the physician's desk reference lists maximum strength Sucrets for soothing anesthetic relief.
Feels better.
Sucrets, soothing medicine for sore throat pain.
Hello. I'm sorry to bother you, but I'm having a dinner party and I've run out of coffee.
Come in.
Thank you.
I'll just do that. Would Taster's Choice be too good for your guests?
Oh, I think they could get used to it.
It's a very sophisticated coffee.
They have very sophisticated taste.
Do they?
Yes. Well, I must be getting back.
Savor the sophisticated taste of Taster's Choice.
So have you met your new neighbor yet? Oh, I've popped in for coffee.
Hello, I'm Dan Rather. Time grows perilously short with the approach of the deadline for Iraq to leave Kuwait. Diplomacy has not yet succeeded, and now it's up to Saddam Hussein. Will he respond to world pressure, or will there be the unthinkable war? Complete coverage from the Gulf and from news centers around the world tomorrow on the CBS Evening News.
A spectacular stunt ends in tragedy.
Call 911.
My thoughts were that this boy is gone.
Rescue 911, Tuesday. America Tonight will continue.
It's the place, definitely.
If you're into Nintendo games,
And who isn't?
then get into Walmart.
We're talking serious Nintendo game store. Because the only thing
Hotter than Nintendo games
is Walmart's price.
The Game Boy system is $89.97 every day, and Radar Mission for Game Boy is just $19.67.
Incredible!
Turtles Follow the Foot Plan is just $26.38. The only thing hotter than Nintendo games is Walmart's price.
Walmart, my allowance, thanks you.
Walmart.
Yes!
Always.
Cross-training, Toyota style. Now hit the showers.
I love what you do for me, Toyota.
Hey, Moms and Dads, there's a big change at McDonald's. From now on, Happy Meals are just $1.99.
And this month, there's the Good Morning Happy Meal.
It comes with one of 4 great toys us kids will love.
Yeah, the kind we could use over and over.
And you won't believe all the stuff we get.
A hamburger, fries, drink, and a toy.
$1.99 for the Good Morning Happy Meal.
Morning. You'll love the change at McDonald's.
Furniture Center must clean out, clear out, close out every piece of furniture from last year. And to do it, we've dropped prices to rock bottom during our first ever Operation Clean Sweep. That's right. Every floor sample, one-of-a-kind items, discontinued merchandise, even special purchases have been reduced with savings up to 75% off during this special event. So if you only shop one furniture sale at one store this year, make it Furniture Center's Operation Clean Sweep, happening now at Nolensville Road, Rivergate, and Whitesbridge.
News Channel 5. More news, more experience, more often. This special edition of America Tonight continues with Dan Rather and Charles Carrault in New York and Leslie Stahl in Washington.
Here is something that must be on the mind of President Bush as he weighs an attack on Iraq. About half of his own country is not ready for this war. In a CBS News New York Times poll released tonight, 46% of the people say the United States should not attack after the UN deadline, but should wait longer. 52% of women said wait. 72% of black Americans said wait. All across the country, people said wait in rallies and prayer services. A candlelight march in Washington tonight was led by President Bush's presiding bishop, Edmund Browning of the Episcopal Church. There were vigils and demonstrations in New York, Chicago, Minneapolis, San Francisco, San Antonio, and many other cities.
Charles, the prospect of war is a deeply moving experience, an emotional experience for the whole country, of course, though it varies from person to person and region to region. To look at this shared national experience tonight, we've asked some people to help us. Joining us now from Sacramento, California, is Dan Walters, columnist for the Sacramento Bee. From St. Louis, KMOX radio talk show host Bob Hardy. And from Atlanta, Cynthia Tucker, associate editorial page editor of the Atlanta Constitution. First, Dan Walters, Sacramento Bee. What's the mood, as best you can make it out, on the West Coast as we teeter on the razor's edge of war?
I think there's a lot of uncertainty. I think people not really sure why we should fight this war, and they're not sure why we're involved in it. They're not opposed to it. I mean, in the main, I don't think they're really opposed to it so much as they're just apprehensive and uncertain. That's particularly true of people I know who have relatives in Saudi Arabia. I mean, they just don't know.
Bob Hardy, KMOX radio. From the people you hear from on your radio broadcast, how closely divided are they about going to war?
I was surprised to hear, Dan, what Charles just reported on the poll. That's virtually the same as what we find in St. Louis. We find something else. Those who were worried about the erosion of the support for the war, they may have been closer to the truth than they ever realized. The anti-war movement is really having an impact out here in the Middle West.
Now, Cynthia Tucker, Atlanta Constitution, the South has generally been historically, certainly over the last century, a bastion of support for any president when it comes to foreign policy. Is that holding this time?
Just very narrowly, I think, Dan. I think Southerners still tend to cling to our traditional patriotism, which says we support the president in crises like this, and we favor an aggressive response. But I think that view holds only very narrowly. I've been very surprised at the number of conservatives I've heard from who say that they support Senator Sam Nunn of Georgia, and they think the president should have waited.
Now, quickly, speculation. How long, first Dan Walters, and how many casualties before support for the president's position begins to erode?
I think, Dan, that you have to have, if you're going to have a war, I think the war has to be fairly decisive and fairly quick. If this becomes one of these protracted stalemates with a lot of body bags coming home and no apparent victory, I think the support will erode rather rapidly.
Bob Hardy?
I would agree with Dan. I'm not so sure that you can list it in numbers of casualties. I get the feeling from my listeners that 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, and then you're going to be starting to see an erosion.
Cynthia Tucker, would that be the situation in the South as best you can make out?
Yes, I agree that the support could erode very, very quickly, depending on how fast the casualty count mounts. I think that if Saddam Hussein decides very early on to unleash his chemical arsenal, and we see a very, very high count of American casualties very early in the first few weeks, I think that the support could just evaporate.
Cynthia Tucker, is it your impression that people in the South have a clear idea of what the war is about and what, quote, win would be?
Indeed not. I get the impression that people have very little idea what this is about. Some people have bought President Bush's argument that we are fighting naked aggression and have bought his comparison to Hitler. There are other people who fear that we are going to war simply to protect cheap American oil. And so I don't think that President Bush has presented his case very well to any of the country. I just think that in this area, he gets a little residual support just because Southerners traditionally have that kind of patriotism. But I think that could quickly diminish.
Bob Hardy, among your listeners, do they have a clear idea of why the war would be fought and what victory would be?
I think they probably do, Dan. That really hasn't changed all that much. What has changed, at least as we see it, is the concern that is expressed over what happens when the war is finished. What are we left with? What is our future at that point? I hear more of that than anything else.
Thanks, Bob. Dan Walters.
Yes.
People on the West Coast have a clear idea of why the war would be fought and what, quote, win would be?
I don't know if they have a clear idea of why the war would be fought, but I think they would have a clear idea of what victory would constitute. Victory would be victory. It would be all over and the killing would end. But there's just a lot of apprehension. I happen to have a couple of friends who have sons and daughters over there, and they're just worried sick. They just don't know. They're not sure whether this war is the right war to fight, and they're not really quite sure why we're fighting it. I think, however, there is another thing. I think once it gets started, if in fact it does start, there will be initially at least a great sense of support for those who are fighting the war. That will carry the day for at least a few days, and then we'll have to see what happens after that.
All three, thank you very much. Leslie?
When we come back, we'll talk with a Republican senator about President Bush's toughest decision, whether to go to war.
You know, I've always wondered about a lot of margarines and spreads that say they have a buttery taste. And you pin them down, there's no butter in them. Read the label on Kraft Touch of Butter spread and see for yourself. It's made with creamy, rich butter. Yep, just a touch. So when Kraft Touch of Butter says buttery taste, there's no doubt about it. I wouldn't serve anything less. Kraft Touch of Butter. A touch of real butter makes a real difference.
Your high-fiber cereal.
Tastes like a high-fiber cereal.
But my high-fiber cereal is different.
Why? Because it comes in a big red box?
No, because it's delicious.
Really?
It's the only one with this delicious combination of raisins, dates, nuts, and crunchy clusters.
Keeps sounding better and better.
And crispy high-fiber bran flakes.
That makes it perfect.
That makes it fruit and fiber.
And that makes fruit and fiber my high-fiber cereal.
Post fruit and fiber cereal.
Delicious.
Why would you want your fiber any other way?
Showdown in the Gulf. Americans at home, on the front line, and on alert. What's next? Dan Rather anchors a special edition of 48 Hours Wednesday.
Stay with us for more America Tonight.
Sometimes I dream I'm in Italy, driving this incredible sports car. And my boss is there. He says,
"We need a ride to the shareholders meeting."
Now, here's where it gets weird. The sports car has 4 doors. I mean, there's no such thing as a 4-door sports car. It's just a dream, right?
At a prestigious cheese competition, Cracker Barrel Cheddar wins a gold medal for excellence. Its 18th. The taste inspires a Munster. Vermont Cheddar. Havarti, Baby Swiss, each made with the same care as our award-winning cheddar. Cracker Barrel from Kraft, judged to be the best.
Do you know the best place to buy brand name menswear for less? In the Nashville area, there are 4 places, and they're all S&K. 4 S&K stores with a total of 10,000 suits and sport coats, and every one of them is on sale. Great locations, too, like the newest S&K store in Brentwood across from the Brentwood Methodist Church, and the shops at Rivergate next to Steinmart, plus Hickory Hollow by Red Lobster and Green Hills across from the library. New stores, new looks, new reasons to buy smart at S&K.
One day they had a reporter that I used to go out with who called in sick. I was basically a trainee. And they told me that I'm going to have to go out and do it. And I said, there's no way I'm ready to do this. And they said, well, you'll have to be ready. And basically that was it. It was trial by fire. And I guess I didn't burn too long because they let me go on air after that and they hired me. The war of words was as bombastic as ever today. Saddam Hussein called for a holy war against the U.S. The White House said Iraq is living on borrowed time after tomorrow's deadline. Joining us, Senator Richard Lugar, member of the Foreign Relations Committee. Senator, I just looked at the clock and I realized that the deadline is now less than a day away. It's 11 hours and 50 minutes away. There are some diplomatic initiatives out there, but in all honesty, is war now inevitable? What can happen in less than a day?
Well, I think we're still working our way through the stack of diplomatic initiatives. I think perhaps that the United States, Saddam was not receptive to us. He's never liked declare. The French are a possible candidate because of historical relationships. Until very recently, they armed Saddam a great deal. But finally, the Arab League situation, the fellow Arabs coming together in some way in which Saddam conceivably might say that he certainly was not going to respect the UN deadline. That was insulting. And he was not going to respect Europeans or the United States or the UN, but nevertheless, for the good of fellow Arabs and their overall quest on Palestine and what have you, he had something to say. Now, I think that is about where we are, but I think as opposed to being in a panic over the situation, it really is important to be solemn and calm as we approach this, because we are in the final innings of the diplomatic situation.
Right from the beginning, you advocated going after him, and you talked about how a military action might be necessary. I wonder if you are still convinced that if we do attack, and even win, if we will actually come out ahead if the Arab world is inflamed against us when this is all over, even if we win.
We approach this with the Arab world in our favor, a large majority of Arabs, both in population and in countries. I think that will remain the case. We have military authority, which they do not have. We have the ability, if we wish, to control the situation both now and in the aftermath of the affair. I think the thing that I'm most concerned about is what I spoke to in August, and that is that Saddam Hussein and the military juggernaut he has, the chemicals, the nuclear potential, are a threat. They will continue to be a threat. I heard people tonight wondering why we were involved. We're involved because our own security down the trail is involved, not only economically, but in terms of his nuclear threat, his ability to project missiles at us, not just simply at the neighborhood. And the men that are over there now, the men and women of our forces, know that if they don't get the job done presently, they will have that job to do in a much dirtier context down the trail. They know that. And they're frightened, and we all are. But this is the time of decision. Now, I still pray that he will reach the logical conclusion. He ought to. He is surrounded, and he will be attacked, and he will be ruined. And I see
And you don't think
nothing.
we'll be ruined?
No, I don't. I think this is the time in which the demonstration of American leadership really comes to the fore. We've been going through a phase in our country in which we said we're one of several countries, but we're not. We are the one superpower. We are the country that can hold it together. We'd rather not play that role
Even
sometimes.
if we're alone. Yeah.
Sometimes when we are alone. We are the only country that could have projected 400,000 people, a logistic feat that is magnificent. We're the only country that could have pulled together the money for this, the armaments. Other nations know that. And we are in a class by ourselves if we do not lose our nerve at this point.
Okay, Senator, as sure of this as you were when you first came on the show almost 6 months ago. I want to thank you very much, Senator Richard Lugar. And I want to correct for everybody what I said before. I'm sorry, my math wasn't very good. The deadline is not 11 hours away, it's 23 hours and 50 seconds away. I apologize. We'll all be right back.
Roger just can't stop talking about the terrific taste of new Arm & Hammer Dental Care Gel. Right, Roger?
Mm-hmm.
It has the cool taste of freshly picked mint, doesn't it, Roger?
Mm-hmm.
And it has the baking soda our dentist recommended. We'll never go back to our old gel, will we, Roger? Mm-mm. New Arm & Hammer Dental Care Gel or paste from the baking soda experts. Anything else you'd like to add, Roger? Mm-mm.
When you have trouble falling asleep, take the sleeping aid ingredient that's the doctor's choice, the one in Sleepinol. In a survey, 7 out of 10 doctors chose the sleeping aid in Sleepinol. Sleepinol contains the doctor's choice to fall asleep fast.
This itchy rash needs special treatment. Maximum strength cortisone 5, with the medicine doctors recommend most, gets under the itch for soothing relief and help in healing. See, the rash is gone. Use cortisone 5 with the medicine doctors recommend most.
Stay with us for more America Tonight.
Swim, ice skate, and become physically fit all under one roof. It's Nashville Centennial Sportsplex. The whole family can enjoy the ice arena where they can skate their way to good health. The 50-meter pool allows competitive swimming, while another pool is reserved for the recreational swimmer. Organized fitness programs and classes like aerobics are taught by experienced, certified instructors. A personal exercise program can be set up for you today. Call or come by Centennial Sportsplex and start feeling good about yourself.
Change is coming, it's understood, happening all over my neighborhood. I'm never gonna call for anything less, gonna change for the better, change for the better.
Call Pizza Hut Delivery now for the pepperoni pizza deal. Get as many medium pepperoni pizzas as you want for just $5.99 each.
Cause a change for the better, change for the better. Pizza Hut Delivery, making it great.
There was an agonizing vote over the weekend, the one in the Congress to authorize war. The House Republican leader, Bob Michel, agonized and voted with his president, but not without recognizing the heartfelt argument on the other side.
The gentleman from Illinois, the Republican leader.
Speaker Foley had just argued for not going to war now.
Mr. Speaker, and may I at the very outset compliment you when you came off the rostrum to become just the member of your district from Washington. A fine hour for the House of Representatives, particularly in your dissertation that you gave. And I don't know what history...
This man standing in the well of the House waiting to speak for the resolution that could send young Americans into combat knows something about combat.
Well, here's one letter, you know, and I said I had an interesting experience a few days ago in an attack. I captured 8 Jerrys. Those are the Germans.
Representative Bob Michel's wartime letter home was published in the Peoria Morning Star. He was a 22-year-old infantryman who was wounded in the Battle of the Bulge.
I'll tell you, having seen the worst of war and experienced it, and the trauma and the killing and the maiming you have an appreciation for what you're committing your treasure to.
Then why did Bob Michel, of all people, stand up and speak for war now?
I guess the thing in this particular instance that I just can't get out of my mind is that still seeing those old movie clips of Chamberlain coming back from having met in Munich, peace in our time.
Here is the paper.
And it was a piece of paper that wasn't worth that much. And he was a tyrant at that time, Hitler. And having experienced then what I have, then yes, it was justified for us to do what we did. I guess that was the thing in my own conscience that convinced me that I had to do what I had to do.
I, like so many other members of my generation, am haunted by the ghosts of Munich and the ghosts that Munich produced. And that's why I'm so opposed to a policy of delay against aggression threatening our vital national interests. And at this point you might be saying, all right, but that was then, and this is now. And I agree. There's not a perfect fit between the lessons of Munich and the problem of Kuwait. New problems demand new approaches. All I ask is that we at least consider that delay often can have more serious consequences later on than swift action.
I felt I came back from the war a much stronger individual than when I went. And but it was through the crucible of experience that I learned and unabashedly would not be afraid to cry or but that's all a part of learning.
Bob Michael was 22 years old when he wrote that letter home to Illinois.
I captured 8 Jerrys by persuading them in German to give up. Anyway, after a few gestures, the boys came out with their hands up, and I questioned them to find out where more were, and a private first class led us to 20 more, and they ranged in age at that time from 18 to 45. They wanted to know how old I was, and when I told them, they said, "You're sure big for your age." Guess I did look pretty tough, rough with hand grenades and TNT blocks dangling from every buttonhole. They wanted to know where I learned my German. And one of them has a brother in Texas, another in Germany is kaput, he said. Sure hope he is right. They were sure I was going to shoot them and were scared as can be. When they saw I was going to treat them as humans, their faces lit up like a Christmas tree. That's the tragedy of war.
The tragedy, he meant, of young men who really have no quarrel with one another, killing one another at their nation's bidding. We'll be right back.
When 4 slender, no-fat calories taste like butter, it's got to be Molly.
This morning, as guests at the 5-star Arizona Biltmore are tempted to breakfast, the fine brewed coffee usually served has been secretly switched to Folgers Crystals. Does it have the fresh brewed taste and aroma these guests expect?
They were just sort of waft me out of bed. Tastes like fresh ground beans.
It help wake us up, get us going.
It's Folgers Crystals.
Coffee John. I would have thought it was brewed. Is the word elegant? Can that be used for coffee?
Mountain-grown Folgers Crystals. Coffee rich enough to be served in America's finest restaurants.
I'll drink to that.
The people of CBS News. Dan Rather,
Connie Chung,
Bob Schieffer,
Leslie Stahl,
Ed Bradley,
and Charles Kuralt. Experience.
CBS News.
Emmy winner Tommy Lee Jones is Woodrow Call.
I hate rude behavior in a man. Won't tolerate it.
His word was law.
Why not go up to Montana?
But his strict code belies a hidden torment.
Now, he's the only son you'll ever have. I don't know that he is my son.
Relive his story when America returns to Lonesome Dove Sunday.
Stay with us for more America Tonight.
In January 1991, your first 2 weeks rental on all Rintronics return merchandise is just $19.91. Most of this stuff is still in great condition. We call it rented, not dented. So rent to own at Rintronics for $19.91 on all returned items and save during our January rented, not dented sale.
Hi, I'm George Lindsay. When I visited a friend in Baptist Hospital not long ago, I couldn't help but notice how much the staff there was like the people of Mayberry. Kind, considerate, caring, always ready to help a neighbor. That's why I'm donating my time to help them. Now, a lot of things have changed since my Mayberry days, but the golden rule is still the best rule, and caring and concern still comes first at Baptist Hospital. Even Barney would appreciate that.
You know when it's right, you know when you feel it, baby. You hold it, you hear it, you taste it, it's right. You got the right one, baby. It's this irrepressibly lovable, unsurpassably quotable, and intimately soulful. You got the right one, baby.
With 100% NutraSweet.
Looking ahead to tomorrow, the government of Iraq has dubbed Deadline Day the Day of Challenge and called for anti-American demonstrations. With less than 24 hours till the deadline, last-minute peace efforts continue. The French foreign minister hopes to go to Baghdad with a plan, including a Mideast peace conference. And the Iraqi ambassador here, Mohammed al-Mashat, leaves Washington for Baghdad. He's been recalled. He told us tonight, Iraq has suffered so much from war. Let's hope, he said, that the last-minute Arab efforts will not fail.
All sorts of things happen in the world today. We haven't told you about the great ceremony in Lithuania mourning the 14 people who were shot to death or crushed by Soviet tanks over the weekend. A new AIDS vaccine was tested and pronounced safe today. It may even prove to be effective. Astronomers discovered a record eruption from a quasar in space, a 3-minute burst of energy greater than the sun emits over the course of 1 million years. There were tornadoes in Texas. Those would be important things to tell you on an ordinary night, but this breathless night on the brink of war is not ordinary. With no trace of irony, the White House today designated Sunday as National Sanctity of Human Life Day. President Bush said, "In affirming the sanctity of life, we realize the highest ideals of our country." We were thinking so hard about the Persian Gulf that it took a little while to realize that he was talking about abortion.
A unique and eerie time, Charles. Starting tonight, CBS News is on watch 24 hours a day to bring you developments in the Persian Gulf crisis. We want to be your steady, reliable, dependable source of information about the situation. We'll have updates on the CBS Morning News and CBS This Morning. I'll be here with the CBS Evening News, and tomorrow night we'll have another special 1-hour edition of America Tonight as the deadline passes. For now, Dan Rather, CBS News. Charles, good night.
Good night, Dan. Good night, Leslie.
Night, gentlemen. Night, everyone.
It happens while you sleep.
A kiss? Not yet, honey.
Millions of bacteria form in your mouth.
A kiss? No.
So you wake up with the worst breath of the day. Morning breath.
Oh, honey.
Fight morning breath with Scope. Antiseptic Scope has 2 powerful ingredients that kill 90% of the bacteria that cause morning breath.
How about that kiss?
Where's my kiss?
Kiss me, you big lug.
Scope. Original mint or peppermint. The best thing, first thing in the morning.
All right, how many this time? 8 cavities. 14 cavities? I didn't think I had that many teeth. You're gonna have to drill? My parents will be very upset.
Parents today hope their kids won't have to go through what they went through. Luckily, today's kids use the toothpaste more dentists recommend, Crest. The first toothpaste clinically shown to give you protection down to the root of the tooth.
Another great checkup. Yes! Woo, woo, woo. Later, dude.
Crest, the dentist choice, is the easy choice.
It's been fun.
The people of CBS News, Mike Wallace,
Morley Safer,
Meredith Vieira,
Harry Reisner,
Steve Croft,
and Ed Bradley. Experience.
CBS News. They're brought together by a murder.
This is my command.
But when he falls for the colonel's daughter,
I'm interested in you, not your father.
Prove it.
sparks ignite.
I don't want you seeing him.
In the midst of murder and passion, something is bound to explode.
What are you so afraid of?
Sean Connery, Meg Ryan, Mark Harmon, The Presidio, Tuesday.
Everybody loves the squeeze. Squeeze!
Sherman says, don't hold back. Every family needs squeezing. Don't resist. If it's soft, who needs a reason? Everyone should have some squeezing fun. And with squeezable softness, Sherman's the one. Don't hold back. Everybody agrees. Take that softness and give it a squeeze. Don't hold back. Everybody loves a little squeeze.
Drug addiction takes many forms. And whatever the form, it can be a subtle killer. It can destroy your health, your family, your career. So if the subtlety of drug addiction or alcohol are becoming the focus of your life, call the Baptist Hospital Drug and Alcohol Recovery Center now. We offer help for today and a plan for life. Call 329-7777.
Later on Night Watch, the final hours of the Persian Gulf deadline. Are there any other last-ditch diplomatic avenues to pursue? That story and more on CBS News Night Watch.
This is CBS.
Well, I guess Bonanza really is a family place. Look at Gramps and the kids over there. Puts a tear in your eye, doesn't it? Oh, sure, I like taking my ma here, too. Day her Social Security check comes in, I call and Boom, here we are.
Enjoy our tender sirloin tips, including bread and choice of potato, only 99 cents when you purchase the all-you-can-eat adult food bar.
Hey, my treat next time, Ma. Honest.
Bonanza, where the extras don't cost extra.
Cheer with Color Guard. Dirt goes, color stays.
News Channel 5. More news, more experience, more often.
It's kind of like going to the Colosseum to watch gladiators play while Rome is burning behind them.
The threat of real war puts a damper on the gridiron wars of pro football. The story on Entertainment Tonight for Monday, January 14th, 1991.
Hello, everybody. I'm Mary Hart.
And I'm John Tesh. Sports broadcasters and writers often get carried away and talk about professional football in terms of war. Now, television is faced with deciding which is more important, football wars or the real thing.
Got a heck of a ball game.
The Chicago Bears went for it on 4th and 1 against the Giants and didn't make it. According to some TV critics, not all the bad calls were made on the football field. On Saturday, CBS started to broadcast an impromptu presidential news conference on the crisis in the Persian Gulf. After only a few minutes of the president, the ball went to Dan Rather, who quickly cut away to the start of the 49.